fine specks in there. Got some nice chunky bits. But some of that, like that right there, is absolutely tiny, tiny, tiny. So yeah, it gets the good stuff, guys, for sure. Get this focus back. What's going on, ladies and Larrys? Got my girl Miss Echo here. Welcome back. Down here at the creek. Found a little bit of bedrock, big boulders here. I might come and hit some of the backside of this. I'm just going to test pan. I got my pans here. Classifier just in case. Got the excavator. Mini monsters ready to go, but I'm not going to set that up until I can actually find decent color numbers. Down here there's a bar I might go to too. Again, the beautiful thing about backpacking a high banker in, battery operated, I can go places that the other guys can't. They're just not going to pack it in with the big equipment. That's the beauty of it. I'm going to get set up here. I'm going to pull a few pans out of this area right in here. I brought my suction dredge too, my hand dredge. I might be able to get down into some bedrock, get behind these rocks. We'll pull a few pans and see what it looks like. I'll get back with you guys. Well, that dig was a bust. Do a little something different. I got the gold claw, but I'll kind of compare. Maybe I'll classify with the one pan and run it through the gold claw and see what happens. Alright, ladies and Larrys, we're making a move. A lot of good rocks in here, and some deep holes from the people running the dredges in through here. This has all been worked. As you can see, behind them rocks are all sanded in, but moving down to this bar, I found a little bit of color, and I just really wanted to test that mini monster out anyway. But I did some pans, did about 3 pans worth right there where I was at. Upstream, I did maybe 4 pans on both sides. Not a lot to write home about. Did some pans in the middle. But the thing is people generally won't travel off the beaten path, and that's where I come into play. And that's a nice rock right there to dig behind. Gets pretty deep over here. This one living life large. Big old boulders in there. You see where my pan is set up there at the start of that gravel bar. I dug into the bank. I got a little bit of color. Again, nothing to write home about, but I could dig in there and run the mini monster and see what we can find. It might be all right. The bed starts to rise right here. That's bedrock right there, coming up, popping up, and you can see tailings piles. You can see all them shoals in there. Then it gets up into somebody really, this is real soft under my feet, but then it builds up right here. But I dug a couple of pans in there. I took one pan out of there, got some color. And somebody dug there. But I might dig around in here a little bit. Just kind of test. In here, grab some materials, a bucket here, a bucket there. Wherever this water just kind of settles, it's probably back there and it's already been worked, but this whole bank right here, along here might be all right. Now, let's get set up and see what happens. Just filling buckets here off of this wash. Found a couple colors in here. I'm not really, I still got some more prospecting to do on this creek, but I just want to test the mini monster out. See how it does. Play. Alright, 2 buckets filled. Now, turn this on. We got it running right now at about 45%. Looking pretty good. And you can angle this up or down, however you want it to wash. The pump out there. Oh yeah. A basket tea. And then the beauty part is you can take this right out and there's your, you know, it'll still run it without that, which we can do here. See, gravel's running down through there. Just depends on the material you're running. Wash and rock. Bad boy right here. You put that in. Just fill it. It'll sit there and hold that whole thing. Just fill that. Fill that right up. Angle this up, wash it down. Ooh, sweat my eyes. Just like that, all that small stuff doesn't go down through here. Alright guys, it got doom and gloom inbound on us. I did get through that second bucket. I have the cons in the truck and I'll pan it out at home in the garage. I was going to do it here just to kind of see. I did see a few specks, but I don't know because there's so much black sand and whatnot. We give homegirl a dunk in the creek. And we're down there. But yeah, overall, that thing is a monster. I mean, that thing moves a lot of dirt for its size. I mean, it just melts the material. It did a beautiful job. The rocks were clean, pump worked beautifully, the control box worked beautifully. I mean, I'm so happy with that. That's a game changer. I'm not giving it full 100% yet. There's things that I am going to look at maybe changing. I just have to run it enough to find out. But so far, It's really good. I have no complaints as of yet. I did pan out the tailings. I had a pan underneath the flare, and there was nothing in there. So hopefully there's something in the cons. But yeah, guys, very happy. Mini Monster, Gold Fox. I did two full unclassified buckets, large rock, whatever. Sat there and scooped it. You saw the video. The basket worked beautifully. Setup was very minimal. Packing in, I need a better pack. I kind of just strapped it on the back. I may get some clips or something to clip it so I can just quickly attach it and detach it. I was just tethering it through here on just a El Cheapo field line Walmart bag, but maybe a frame pack or something would work better. I carried my hand dredge with me too. Got the excavator, but over beautiful, man. It ran. No complaints there. It's exactly what I was hoping it would be so far. You know, just dialing it in and getting the right, getting on the gold. You know, if the gold ain't there, no matter how good the machine is, it isn't there. So anyway, I'm gonna get her packed up. We got the wind blowing here. A storm rolling in. I'm gonna get her down in the creek and get her kind of washed up a little bit before getting in the truck, and yeah, rocking and rolling, guys. All right, guys, we're back on the bench. We're home. Was able to run two buckets, two 5-gallon buckets of unclassified material, test running through the Gold Fox Mini Monster. I was gonna stay longer and really prospect around. I just was looking for a spot that had a speck or two. Get some two buckets of samples through that. I don't expect a lot. That's not what the purpose of this video was for anyway. I just wanted to run some material through the machine just to test it out and see how the revisions work, how the new matting works. And this is the new silicone matting that's in there. The basket. He's got that deflector underneath there that shoots the material back before it goes through the mat instead of dropping straight down. Testing it with and without the basket. Cons, you can see it's just tons of black sand in there. I mean tons, you can see it. And I had black sands all the way down the end of the flare. I did test the tailings coming off of the flare. I didn't really find anything. Not that I wasn't losing gold. I was set at 8 degrees at 45 on the dial in that video. So whatever's in here is in here. Again, this video wasn't about me being on the gold or finding the gold. It was more about test running the Mini Monster and applying this piece of equipment to my arsenal. So anyway, without further ado, I got some of my cleanup stuff. The one thing different about this matting versus Vortex matting, the Dream Mat that I'm used to running, is there's a lot more cons to pan through than I'm used to. That's quite a bit, and it's heavy. Packing out a bunch of cons on a day's worth of running can be heavy. So I don't know how I feel about that just yet. Overall, though, first runnings, first impressions, it worked beautifully. I mean, it ran material like gangbusters. The mat did what it's supposed to do. The machine, it was simple to set up, battery operated, and I checked the battery that I was using. Ran completely two full buckets, one right after another. It still had full battery, so that's pretty impressive. I can only imagine having 3 batteries that I now have for this unit. I'd go out somewhere I could run all day and not have a problem. I'm just curious on the matting, and if somebody in the comment section or somebody who watches the video understands this type of ribbed matting. I've only ever run Vortex matting, the Dream Mat, but these ribs, and like I showed in the first video I did, just to overview the unboxing, it has 3 or 4 different styles of ribbing in there. Once this loads up, does it exchange black sands for gold, or does it load up and then you have to clean it out? Because if it loads up full of black sands and material, am I losing gold over the top of it? That's what I need to know, because Vortex matting will always replace black sands and heavies with gold, it vortex it in there. But I could always change this matting out to vortex if I'm so well inclined, and I may or may not do that yet. I want to give this the full opportunity as possible. But anyway, let's clean up. I was gonna pan this out by hand. That's a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna classify this with a kitchen strainer, I think, first. Kitchen strainer size, and then I'm gonna run this actually through the micro dream mat sluice setup in the bin, and just to kind of get down to some of the finer materials. That's a lot to go through, and I know those black sands. I mean, the whole bottom of that is just absolutely black. But yeah, let's get set up with that. Be right back. All right, gang. So what I think I'm gonna do is classify this down, wet classify it down, which I don't particularly like to do, but it's heavy. All the heavy sands, black sands, all that is down at the bottom of this. Just a dollar store kitchen strainer. We'll put that in there. I don't think there's anything in there. But like I said, we'll pan it back there. Where I was at, and once I found a speck or two where I was at, I just dug 2 buckets. I wasn't like really hunting. The weather was coming in, and I wanted to just run some material through it just to see how the machine ran. But yeah. Yeah, let's run this through the micromat and see what we look like. All right, gang, so got the sluice set up, micromat in. The header box I made interesting is that I took the pump, the C-flow pump, and I can actually use the pump and the control box to control my cleanup sluice. So that's pretty cool. I'll just try a little bit here. Maybe a little too fast. A little bit too fast. See if you can see it or not. There's a nice little flake right there. There's another nice little flake right there too. You see it? Right there and right there. Let's wash it out. you see the gold. 1, 2. I think there's another little piece in there. Try to show you guys. So there's gold all in the top riffles of this thing. There's right in the middle of the screen right there in that cell. You can see a piece of gold in there. Yeah. Of course, what I showed you earlier in those cells, all towards the top. And I think there's a piece laying right there in the middle of the screen. You see it not in right at the tip of my finger. It's not in one of the cells. It's just caught right there. But yeah, cool. Cool. All right. Yep. I'm gonna pull the mat and we'll get this in a pan. Get it back on the bench. All right, gang. So we got it classified down to the big stuff, which I'm gonna drop a pan down at the bottom just to catch any of the big stuff. I'm not expecting anything out of here, but you never know. We'll give her a little roll back and see. Like I said, I don't expect it in this bigger stuff. We'll take our time with it. A lot of garnets in there. And a little shotgun pellet. A little round lead ball shotgun pellet. Bird shot, looks like. That's a good sign. No? Oh? Yeah, there's one little piece in there, one chunky little piece. One chunky little chunker. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. That's almost a picker. Almost. Almost is actually a little flake. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I think I can go right to the fine side on this. Let's do the gold claw. Let me really shake this up and get that heavy. I know there's gold in there. We saw it in the mat. Let me really get this stratified down at the bottom down here. Yes, oh yeah, it's coming through now. Coming through now. You can start to see the flakes in there. Good stuff. Just get rid of this. Get rid of that. It's almost a picker. A little flake. Yeah. Drop him in there. A little tink. A little tink. a miller table with this black sand. Make this cleanup a lot easier. Another piece of gold. Decent chunky piece right there too. When I'm done, but I want to catch it as it's coming. Some fines in there too. He's talking to me over here. I got a floater. You can see it right there in the corner. I don't weigh up my gold like some other channels do. I will. I will eventually. I'm just not right now. To start getting into the process is better. Let me suck this up. Alright guys, let's do the old snuffer dump together. Oh yeah. A lot of fine in there too, which is cool. Yeah, a lot of fine. You guys on there. So far, trying to get it to focus. There we go. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of fine in there. I'm going to get my fingertip in there. You can see there's a lot of fine specks in there. Got some nice chunky bits. But some of that, like that right there, is absolutely tiny, tiny, tiny. So yeah, it gets the good stuff, guys, for sure. Get this focus back again. There we go. Yeah, we like it. Yeah, I'll do a little finer cleanup on this and we'll get it into a vial, but that looks pretty good. Liking it. Alright guys, final thoughts on the mini monster after running it. Just processed the cons. Like I said, it wasn't really about finding and getting gold with it. It was how well it worked out in the field. And I'm gonna give you. There's more good than bad, and just overall build quality, absolutely excellent. It's designed for somebody like me who doesn't want to bring in big, heavy equipment like large high bankers, large dredges, it's perfect. Backpack it in, and that's exactly what I did. I backpacked it in. I went beyond where everybody else goes. Got into some fairly decent gold. I wasn't able to run as long as I wanted to. That's going to happen. You're going to see this in a lot of my videos. Overall build quality, the welds, design, everything about this, the revised version of this is excellent. The basket, excellent. I didn't have any issues with the nozzles. It cleaned the material, even the clay, and being able to hold that clay in the basket until it dissolves. Really good. The matting all worked the way it was supposed to work. The kicker plate under here that kicks the material to the back before running it through the mats instead of falling straight down through, that's a revision. The basket's a revision, the flare's a revision, the mats are a revision, and the pump is now 1,100 gallon Seaflow pump, revised. I couldn't build something this good for the money it cost to buy one of these. You just can't. There's just no way. Having a complete system that you can backpack in, turn on and go without running a gas motor, it's quiet. I mean, there's so many positives to this that far outweigh the minor nitpick things that I'm gonna point out. So, straight away, you can see right here, and I'll zoom in for you guys so you can see. Since this is just pressed in there, these actually kick out of there and scratch up the box when you're folding this. When you fold it, it torques it to where they can pop out, so you have to be careful with that. But both sides of the box have scratches on it like that. Nitpick stuff. When folding the flare up, of course, I take the mats out. You can see right here too, the flare actually hits these legs. They actually hit and rub when folding this up. So that's eventually going to wear out on both sides, folding that over. Just a wear issue, nothing real. Again, this is all nitpicky stuff. What else could I think of? And it's so nice. I mean, there's nothing really to nitpick. The matting is different. Whether the mat is better than, say, Vortex. Get this. Here's my thoughts on the matting. And I know he used to have Gold Hog in there. It holds a lot of cons. And the cons to the cons, pun intended, is you're packing that out. So that does add weight when, you know, and you could process your cons when you get home like you see I did in my video, but I wound up running it through a micromat, Dream Mat micromat. And my thought is it catches the fine gold. It catches the gold. It all catches the gold. But my thought is you have to clean up more between runs with this type of matting than you do with the Vortex. And when you're all said and done, the amount of cons left over from running a Vortex mat is a lot less than running these riffle type of mats. And that's less weight you're packing out. Remember, we're talking about walking into back 40 somewhere, not rolling up to a already dug up pile of dirt or easy, you know, driving up to something. We're talking packing in. So any weight savings you can would be great. I could always replace this matting with Vortex matting. It's almost the same length this is. Or I could keep the gravel bar and the nugget trap and just go from there and just use Vortex. It's something we could play with and do, but or get an adventure sluice and just cut it to fit this because it's 4 inches wide as well. But so far, I'm just going to run it the way it's built. You know, run it the way it is, and I really want to put some material through this, and you can. The extendable legs are all adjustable. Great unit. I couldn't be more happy, and it's money well spent in my book. I won't use this on every single trip. Oh, one more thing. Going back on the matting. So let's say you bring this out and you're running some test holes. The only way you're going to know if you're on gold or not is if you pull the matting out, clean it, and then pan out what's in here. Vortex, you can literally see gold in the cells, so without having to pull the mats out. So that's another thing too with the Vortex matting, versus this style of matting that packs in the fines and stuff down into the silicone riffles. Good system, good matting, and this is a little tougher, more tougher silicone than this is. This is softer, this is tougher. But yeah, I'm gonna run it for a while, just the stock matting, and see. And you know, I can always run my 6-inch sluice off the tail end of this and see if it's catching anything or not. But I don't think it is. I think this is grabbing everything. The whole design of this is pretty well thought out. But like I said, when you're cleaning out these mats, and what you're left over with cons is heavy, and a lot more cons, as you saw in the cleanup, than if you just ran Vortex alone. Some people want cons to play with, some don't. Up to you guys. Beautiful setup. Absolutely beautiful setup, and you're going to see a lot more of this in my videos. But Kelly Fowler, you did an amazing job. The build quality from a former fabricator is absolutely perfect. I mean, the little things I pointed out are just nitpicky. I mean, this thing's, you're washing rocks, right? It's a tool, it's not a jewel. And it's a tool in my toolbox that's going to make a big difference in what I'm capable of doing versus just a sluice or a pan. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked the overview video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you're interested, I'm not affiliated in any way. GoldFoxUSA.com, Kelly Fowler. He makes trommels and all kinds of stuff, but the fact that he makes these small high-end units like this that are quality for money, cheaper than anything. You're not going to find a system under the money what you're getting with this, in a complete system. So hats off to Mr. Fowler. Excellent job. Appreciate you guys. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe, like, comment. I'll catch you guys later.